even somebody who's DIYing a circuit, they didn't make the resistors, they didn't make the transistors. You know, there's a certain point where it stops. And my reason for sort of getting behind that argument is because I don't want this to be seen as some obscure side interest that just a few nerds have. You know, I really don't like this nerd association. I think it's a really universal desire that like all humans have had forever. We want to manipulate the things around us. We want to have a unique experience. We want to put our own spirit or soul or personality or whatever on the things around us. So this is a vastly universal thing. And it's just because of like mass production of the products around us that's become maybe obscured a bit, but I think it's still something that pulses within everyone in this room and everyone around us. But there's a lot of ways that we can talk about DIY and the merits of the movement.
There was a lot of things, like everybody mentioned something like, I love to do it, and that's something that it's very common, and for me all these things are beautiful to love, and they are ready to be loved. I think there's something which art should be about, loving things, and life should be about, probably, love. Mainly.
Well, and I think life, yes, I think life should be about love. I agree with that completely. I saw an interview with Dario Argento. He's a famous horror director from Italy from like the 80s. He made a bunch of like super gruesome movies. And he said, "Why do you make your movies?" He says, "Because I want to be loved." And I was like, that's really adorable that you say that. But I mean, I think that that's not a bad reason. You know, I don't think the desire to love is bad. But I like also that this sort of sidesteps some of the other reasons that people do things, and like capitalism, for instance. I mean, I think that there's the DIY movement is really tied into sharing, you know, open source information. And I forgot what I was going to say after that. Capitalism is bad. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get into that, but I think that DIY, I don't know, I'll think of it later.
Thank you. Ja som mal, I'm gonna swap to Czech, probably, actually Slovak, sorry. Tak rozmýšľam nad tým všetkými vecami vlastne nad, okay, back to English. Probably, I think that there's something about the electronic music, or this was always experimental. If I'm thinking about the beginners of live electronic music, like David Tudor I mentioned, he was always a kind of tinkerer, somebody who was trying something to do. I think that's very natural to doing the things and trying. And I don't think it's necessarily about nerding. I think it's about the approach, you know, the philosophy. The other very important thing is about this mass production. Capitalism really like touched the music in the 1980s like extremely. Like so many great developers of synthesizers like ARP were just bankrupted because the Yamaha and big producers just brought like cheap equipment on the market. And there is a necessity about that there's super big gap for me between nice instruments and between what is offered now in the supermarkets of instruments, like this quality, sound quality, and the whole motivation and even tactility. It's far away from what I expect or what I call instruments. Like how important is for you guys like these elements, like the certain quality, but not from aspects of quality, but about the feelings, and to give really everything to that. It's not motivated by profit, purely.
I mean, yeah, I think you just brought up a bunch of different things. I mean, the pursuit of profit is a really complicated topic, because sometimes I feel as someone who's creating, as somebody who has something that they want to say, you kind of owe it to yourself and the world to be able to say that, and a lot of the time money is a part of that. So there needs to be a respect for your audience that is shown through actually being able to support yourself in order to deliver that message. But again, that's maybe a side topic. But I mean, I don't know, are you asking more about the diversity of what's available, or I mean...
What do you think, what is the biggest motivation about creating the own stuff? Like, what's behind this motivation by now? Or do you think this movement is now something what was not before? Or was it always with electronic music, like this kind of tinkering?
Of course, it was like always, like, there have been always people building something for themselves. But I think now we are in the position when a lot of people can choose. Like, if we are talking about 70s or 80s, like somewhere in the world maybe you could choose, but still, like I don't know, in this part of Europe you couldn't choose. Like the only option was maybe to build something, or yeah, I don't want to talk about the other option. But still, like nowadays, like there are parts of the world where people can't afford synthesizers, and like that has been super like amazed by what people are building in Indonesia, for instance, for like sound machines. But now, like in this part of the world, people really want to choose what they play with, and because music is a thing of passion and of love, the instrument you play is something you use to express this passion and love, then yeah, I think people tend to really choose instruments that where they see the love and the people behind, when there is no like Asian sweatshop producing these instruments. I think people are realizing that, and this kind of informed consumerism in this kind of good form, where people go also to the different types of quality, is growing much bigger. And that's just one part of the quality. Then of course you can talk about sound and so on. Yeah.
But I think something that really people are looking for too, at least I am, but I think it's a more universal thing, is that they're looking for sincerity. And it's hard to know if someone's driven by passion or for other reasons. And for some reason I see that if someone has made something themselves, it's a real expression of a sincere commitment to what they're doing. So that's part of what I really appreciated about it, as opposed to using sort of pre-made stuff where that can be harder to identify. But that's something, when I see any sort of performance or any sort of artistic output, I'm looking to see if that person actually sincerely believes what they're doing. Because quality is so subjective now with conceptual art sort of screwing, so, any sign that somebody is really passionately committed to what they're doing, I think is something that I'm eager to see. And when somebody has to put so much work into producing their instrument, then that's a sign that there's probably some commitment that maybe is worth learning more about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, thank you. Yeah, myslím si, že by sme sa mohli posunúť. I think we can move to show the instruments and the aspects and love you gave there. And I think ďakujem, myslím, začneme s Dirkom. Dirkom,